if you're sitting in a desk for 8 hours, then this is something you have to do every day. Because if you don't do it, it's going to catch you. If you spend a lot of time hunched like that, as Dr. Gupta has said, you end up compressing the internal organs, right? So if you end up compressing the internal organs, what you get is something we call delayed peristalsis, or rather movement of food within the internal organs. So after some time, if that continues, then you get something we call leaky gut. You start getting heartburns. The next thing you get gastritis. You form polyps, etc., etc. If these things continue and you don't do anything about it, then it is very easy then all that toxins that is holding up in the body to complicate and start forming cancer cells that will end up either causing a stomach cancer, that will end up causing any other lifestyle disease, diabetes, hypertension, name it. It will all be a big contributory for that position. Text neck is not just for people who do text. Text neck is this posture. When you take that posture, that is text neck. That posture is a text neck. So it's just very popular as a text neck today because of smartphone users. But it is that posture. Sorry, when you take and when you take that posture and you start getting neck pain and you've gone to the hospital and you've been told you have cervical spondylosis, you have neck spasm, you have any other diagnosis that you get. That is what text neck is all about. So it is not only the phone. Even if you're at home and you don't use the phone and you sit like this, you're going to get it. You know, even if you drive the car and you always, when you're driving the car, you're like this, you're going to get it. So we need to understand that text neck is the posture. It is not just for the very young kids as early as 14 years coming to see us with degenerative disc disease, like disc herniations, something that you expect to see on somebody who is in their 40s, 50s. Majority of people watching this show or who work behind a computer and use their phone or their computer for so long are complaining of two things, either fatigue here, either pain or tightness in the shoulder girdle, either shoulder pain, either numbness, either headaches, either ringing in the ears, either ringing jaw, clicking jaw, either migraines. All these things, or sometimes they also start getting things like acidity and constipation or shortness of air. Sometimes people get chest pain. Because when you stoop over and you change the curve that we're supposed to have, in the curve you're supposed to have 4 curves. There's a curve behind the neck, and there's a curve on the thoracic spine, and then the curve on the lumbar, and then on the pelvis. These curves act as shock absorber of the human body. And when you abuse those curves by maintaining a given position like that for so long, then what happens is that the muscles in the front here shorten. So those muscles shorten like that, and this one shorten. What happens then, there's a continuous stretch of the muscles and the tissues from the back, and over time, then you start getting degenerative change because the bones now are being forced to stay in a position they're not supposed to stay in. And if that continues, then you get the first episode of tightness. My tight. When you form a text neck position, or rather we call it in medical terms upper cross syndrome, it doesn't only happen as an upper cross syndrome alone. You also form what you call a lower cross syndrome. So an upper cross syndrome involves the shoulder girdle and the neck, so you get into that position. A lower cross syndrome, on the other hand, is this position. So you never walk like this, but you walk like that. So you find a lot of people who walk like that. If you take an X-ray, you have a straight back. So what happens is now, you get a shortening in the front, and you get a shortening, on the pelvis, and you get a shortening at the shoulder girdle. So when you bend and you hunch like that, what happens? Most people will burst their discs. Most long-distance drivers have disc herniations, and then if not that, they'll burst their neck or they get both. Some of these health educations on posture, on how to exercise, are things that should be in the school curriculum from the beginning. The same way we used to get Colgate to come and teach us about taking care of our teeth. There has to be programs that people are taught about taking care of their spine. You know, things like yoga should be taught in schools. But when you say yoga in an African setting or in a country like Kenya, everybody thinks like yoga is an Indian thing. That
the
is
meditation
meant,
side of
yes,
this.
yes, that it's only meant to be for Indian and it's a religion, which is a misplaced concept. Yoga is very powerful, and yoga is going to help a lot of us and all of us to be able to live and withstand the ramification of aging. Because if you learn how to do yoga, you don't need to spend anything. You can do it anywhere. You just need your body and yourself. You need to sit like this or you need to sit like this. It's not practical.
Right.
We have all been shown how to sit, but it's more practical on a computer than it is on a phone. Because most of the time when you get a text, you always go like this. You hardly think about sitting upright. However, the best way to sit would be like, you get to the edge of the table. So if you are sitting on a chair like this, I want to get to the very edge so that my butt is supported. Then when I lean back, I don't have to struggle straightening up. So I'll sit and my legs